So the project started when Cherwell District Council approached us. They'd found some funding from the Natural Environment Research Council for looking at green infrastructure. And they were very concerned because they have enormous targets for house building. There's 100,000 houses due to be built across the whole of Oxfordshire. And in Bicester, which is where the project is based, it's due to double in size over the next 20 years. And their concern is that they don't really have the methods they need for planning the green infrastructure to go along with those developments. So we managed to get this funding from the Natural Environment Research Council, and one of their main problems really is that there are a lot of tools and methods out there which have been developed by researchers, but they're not always easy for councils to pick up and use. They can be quite complicated or expensive, or they need lots of data. So what they were really hoping for was that we could find some simple existing tools and methods which they could readily pick up and apply, just to make sure the green infrastructure is built into the new developments and that the existing green infrastructure is protected where necessary and that it all joins up together in a connected way. So green infrastructure provides a lot of services which people might not be aware of. It provides a place to soak up floodwater. Green cover like grass and trees protects against erosion. It can help to regulate air quality, so it can soak up pollution from traffic and so on. It can soak up carbon, so it helps to regulate the global climate by storing carbon. And it's also habitat for pollinators. It provides insects for natural pest control. And then on top of that, it's got all the cultural value. So your local park is a really good place to go for a walk, to get exercise, to stay fit and healthy. But also people just get attached to these places. So it helps to provide a sense of place and local distinctiveness. It can also provide education opportunities for school children, for example. People just like to go and interact with the wildlife, either on organised activities like bird watching, or just casually, they might just see birds in their garden or as they're out walking. And one of the only ways we can measure these cultural values is to actually go and talk to people about it. There's no kind of scientific way of measuring it. So one of the great things about this project is we were able to engage with the people of Bicester, and we held workshops. We had an online app where people could send in tell us which spaces they valued most. And the district council we were working with was really keen to find out what people actually thought of their green spaces. There is a real sense of urgency around this work. House building is proceeding really fast in Oxfordshire, and quite often councils are called on to assess planning applications without really knowing much about the green infrastructure networks which are important in their areas. For example, one of the local residents in Bicester emailed me just before Christmas, quite upset because one of the areas just behind his house had been bulldozed and all the surface vegetation had been taken off. And that was really not an accepted planning application. It was really still at the outline application stage. So there's a real need to find out very quickly what these important spaces are, what their values are, and which of these networks need to be preserved and how they can be strengthened, so that when we're developing new houses, we actually preserve and maintain that network of connected green infrastructure which supports quality of life for everybody.